Hello and welcome to Three Things Live.
Hello. Hi, Allison.
Hi, Sandra. We are so excited to bring you Three Things Live. We've made it till February. So put a smile on your face because this is Three Things Live, where thing number one is something to make you smile. Thing number two is we're going to learn something really fun today. And thing number three is we'll discover something new. So let's go. Welcome to Three Things Live, where we have made it to February, and if you see a smile on our face, it's because we're all laughing just a little bit about Punxsutawney Phil, who told us that there is 6 more weeks of winter. But you know what? He's only right 34% of the time. And Abby told us all that he bit the mayor's ear, so he's not happy about it either. Hello, I'm so excited to have you, Sandra. We don't get to do this very often.
No.
Welcome for coming out of the world of Kimberbell. Kyle, you and I see each other all the time.
All the time. We're like this.
So, did you guys have a really good weekend?
We did. I got a lot done this weekend. It was awesome. My UFOs are going this way.
They are.
Yeah,
okay.
they're shrinking. They're shrinking.
All right.
So I'm glad about that.
We as a staff are participating in the UFO challenge right along with you. Kyle, how about yours?
I've got 4 projects that I just took off my long arm. All I have to do is bind them.
Oh, I love to bind, so that's my
awesome.
favorite.
Oh, I'll bring them in.
Okay. Find a good movie, and you can sit there for hours binding.
Oh, don't your fingers get sore?
Wait. You don't do it on the machine?
No, I'm a hand binder for
you
sure.
guys.
No
Come
way.
on.
Machine.
Okay, you guys are not thinking of this correctly, because how many more hours can you get on your UFO game if you hand bind? I'm just saying.
Yeah, but how many more projects can you get done if you do it on the machine?
Good job.
And then
I like the way
have
you
a
think.
project done?
I like the way you think.
All right, well, we want to welcome you because we have a really fun week, and it's all about Stitch Your Story and the word freedom. We have a special guest on Wednesday. Susan Rubin Goldstein will be joining us.
Yeah.
Susan Goldman Rubin. Wow, I said that completely wrong. Susan Goldman Rubin will be joining us on Wednesday, and we have some really fun things. But let's talk about Stitch Your Story first.
Okay.
Are you guys so excited about it?
This has been a real challenge for me, actually, to do it.
Okay, I think it's...
Our theme this month, as you said, is freedom. And, you know, it took me a minute to start thinking about all kinds of different types of freedom, because I think we get stuck in a rut.
Yes.
When that word comes out.
Right.
I think
Red,
we get
white, blue.
stuck in a rut. And so I think what we're going to show today is a little different aspect of it.
And a little bit of freedom,
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay, so if
Exactly.
you are just joining us and this is the first time you're like, Stitch Your Story. Stitch Your Story is kind of a theme that we are centering some of our projects around this year. Stitch Your Story has been fantastic. What we are doing is we are going on a journey to create a quilt for our legacy that kind of tells our story a little bit. Now, the great part about Stitch Your Story is there will not be a single quilt that will be the same, because none of our stories are the same. We all walk a different path. We all have a different story. So we kind of focused around the word legacy last month. Now, what if I don't have a legacy?
I think everybody does.
Everybody does have a legacy.
Yes.
But we give a theme or a keyword every single month, but that does not necessarily mean that is what you have to do your block around.
Right.
Or maybe you feel really passionate about one of the words and want to do 2 or 3 blocks.
Yeah.
Your quilt, your story.
Exactly.
But if you will go to our website and search Stitch Your Story, we have a really fun journal that is download. And we have been following along with you guys regarding your stories, and it has been amazing what I have
Some
learned.
amazing
There
stories.
some really great
So fun.
stories.
It has been so
Yeah,
fun.
we're going to share some of those on Wednesday, some of the stories that come up, but we decided that we're going to share some of our stories with you this week. And so, Kyle, Tell us about the word freedom. What does freedom, and how did you interpret that with your block? Now your block, we're going to give you sashing instructions, how to put it together.
Later on.
If you do your block 12.5 by 12.5 unfinished or 12 by 12 finished.
Right.
What if you don't want to do it 12 by 12?
You don't have to.
Right, thank you.
No, you don't have to.
I thought it was the law.
Oh, no.
You know what? Rules are made to be broken. If you don't believe me, ask my kids.
All right. So, you know what? This is your quote, your story,
Yeah,
but we're all doing 12.5 by 12.5 unfinished blocks. So how did you interpret the word freedom?
Okay, for me, it's been a journey this last year. And throughout our lives, we all have a journey. But mine, should I show it?
Yes, show your block.
This is my block. This is the tree, not the tree of life or anything, but it's a tree with a single branch. I didn't want to make a great big tree, but these are 2 leaves that are falling off the tree. They've come detached, and you see all those little pieces. It's called crumb quilting. I wanted them dimensional, so I left them so they're dimensional. These represent what I have done this last year. I've been to therapy, I don't know how many times, but this last year I could let go of a lot of things. I let go, and I am the happiest I've been for a long time. So I feel like I freed myself from some things that have really, really got me down lately. And so I could let go of the tree, and I could just float above, you know, enjoy the scenery and my family. I could just enjoy all that. And then I did some grass that were, what do you call it?
Doodle quilt.
Doodle quilting.
Yep.
So I wanted grass, so when I do land, it will be soft. Not a crash and burn.
You know what, Kyle? I love your take on freedom. What a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And we have kind of been inadvertently a part of your story.
Oh,
just a
you guys have
little
been a big part.
You know, we've watched through the past year the freedom that has come, maybe from
me.
a little bit of therapy, maybe from talking things out, maybe from the time in your life. But what a great take on the word freedom.
It's been amazing. And one of our customers, we chat a little bit on Messenger, and we talk about things that have gone on, and we've had a great time. So I'm not holding it in anymore.
Great.
I'm not doing the things I was doing before. I've changed my whole personality, and I like myself better.
I don't think your personality has changed.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, I don't. I think that there's just some things, things that you do different.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And I think that because I don't think it's going to change your personality, but it's definitely going to change some of the things that you do.
I didn't
And how you
realize
react.
how angry I was and how I took everything so personal.
Yes.
You're doing that just to hurt me. Really?
Yeah.
Really? No.
You know what? I love that, Kyle.
Yeah,
I
so
love
that was
your
a lot
take
of
on that
freedom.
block, and I love your block. Hold it up one more time.
Okay. All right.
Because I'm going to, as you do, I'm going to actually read the quote that goes with this month's Stitch Your Story.
Okay, good.
And it says, "Freedom is the open window through which pours the sunlight of the human spirit and human dignity." Isn't that beautiful and just perfect?
That's awesome.
Got it.
So
Got
freedom
it.
is the open window through which pours the sunlight of the human spirit and human dignity.
Wow.
That's by Herbert Hoover. And that is kind of the quote. Now, you guys saw me read that. Download and print that journal, because these quilts
Absolutely.
mean nothing without the story behind
Nobody
it.
would understand what this means to me.
It's a beautiful block.
Yeah, no one, I mean, you could look at that and no one would
that's
really
cool.
understand it
Yeah.
until you know what's behind it.
Right,
So
right.
that story is important.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to try the crumb quilting because it's all the little pieces of your life
Melded together.
That's all in there together. It's made up, good, bad, ugly, whatever. It's part of me.
Okay, so are you going to promise me that you're going to download and write that story down so that your posterity learns
Yes,
just
but,
a little bit?
But I want to tell you one thing we did a few years ago.
Okay.
My family had a big family reunion, and we have never gotten together all at one place. They all came to my house, and we had my mother there, and we all sat around a fire pit, and we recorded her when we asked her different questions. It was so cool. It was so therapeutic for her, and it was wonderful for all of us.
And do you go back and listen?
Yes, I do.
I mean, just to have her voice.
And
Now,
what about her? She listens to it.
Oh, she listened to it all the time. She would just stand there at the counter and just listen to it. She loved it.
So if you don't want to write your story, record it. I mean,
It's
something
however
to share
you
your
want to do
story.
it.
You know, some of you are reading the book club book, Where the Wind Blows.
Oh, yep, that's good.
Yeah, isn't it really great? And part of it is, you know, the story that goes behind it. I mean, it's just a perfect segue into that. So if you are not joining in with Where the Wind Blows, be sure to listen to it on Audible or read it.
I just downloaded it over the weekend. I was just finishing a book and I thought, okay, I'm going to download it. So I downloaded it and I haven't started it yet. So
It's good.
Yeah,
I was not
gonna
that
listen to
thrilled about it at the beginning, but it made me think about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I suggest you read it.
Yep.
Or listen to it.
All right. Well, we are going to share our blocks all the way through the week. So, Kyle, thank you for sharing your block.
Yes.
Sandra, we are going to excuse you two right over to the sewing machine because you are going to talk about your block and your take on freedom. And so we also have Sherry and Cindy tomorrow who are going to talk about it. We want to excuse Chris. She will not be with us this week, and so we will miss her, but we cannot wait to hear. So we'll see you guys.
We're going to have a good time.
Second. Yep.
Yeah.
We would love to invite you to be a part of the Stitch Your Story Challenge for 2025. We're going to help you create a quilt this year that not one other person on the planet will have because it's your story. What we are going to invite you to do is that you're going to create a 12.5-inch unfinished block every month according to a theme.
We're not going to leave you alone.
No.
We're going to give you tips and tricks and techniques.
Free Themes Live is going to become your go-to source for this. The first week of every month, the 3 shows will be based around that theme to get you excited and spur some ideas into you of what you could do.
Right.
I'm going to keep going with all
Yes.
of you. I'm going to do my best.
Now, Allison, are there any rules to this?
Well, it needs to be in a 12.5-inch unfinished block, but other than
That's
that,
it.
And then she wants me to narrow it down to just 3. Are you kidding me?
Let's keep the conversation going on Facebook, YouTube. Let's keep cheering each other on. We're going to have a great time while we're doing so. I'm so excited. Hey friends, heads up on Free Themes Live, Susan Goldman Rubin, the author of The Quilts That She's Bent, will be joining us live.
she'll be sharing fascinating quilting stories from her life and book. Join us at 1 p.m. Mountain and 3 p.m. Eastern.
Let's go.
Hey, Kyle, how are you?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm great.
Hey, I just got to thinking about these Stitch Your Story blocks, and I've seen some of them out there, and there's a lot of them that are pieced, and there's a lot of them that might be machine embroidered.
That's what your brain
and-
goes right to. The
Yeah,
quilt.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's just it. But don't you think that there's a lot of different ways that we could do these? We don't need to be stuck in a rut.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be that 1 month they're quilted and 1 month they're embroidered, and it can be a lot of different mediums that we
Can
can
I make
use.
a whole blank block?
You sure can.
Okay.
With nothing on it?
Yeah.
I totally agree.
I'm in the dark.
Yep. I have nothing to say about this one. Nope. No kidding. No, I totally agree. So today we're going to show you a few of the things that we've used, and we've combined them all together.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think it's turned out okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
kind of
we're
like
okay.
we're being artistic.
Yes, that's
Yes,
it. That's
the
it.
word.
That's it.
Yeah.
So first of all, let's take a look at Kyle's block here for just a second, and we're going to kind of dissect it. How's that sound?
Okay.
Okay.
Don't look too careful.
No. Okay, so first of all, you talked a little bit about crumb quilting here.
Crumb quilting. I just love the look. I've only done it a couple times now.
And Chris used it last month on her pomegranate block.
That's right,
didn't
that's
she?
right. Mm-hmm.
She used it, and it was all together. But I love the fact that you did yours, and that it's a 3-dimensional block.
Yeah, because I
So
want it
it's
to
just-
flap in the breeze.
Yeah. Okay, and so you talked a little bit about your grass down here.
Right.
And how did you do that?
I just took my feed dogs down and I just moved it all over underneath my needle.
So like a free motion.
Free motion. Yeah, and
motion.
I really like it.
I think it
I don't
looks
do
great.
it very much because I'm afraid.
You know, I think we get in those that we're afraid
Yeah.
to do those things.
It
okay?
looks like grass. I'm
It
very
does.
impressed.
I thought it worked great because trust me, I did the same thing on mine.
Yay.
I took your idea and I
Good.
went, okay, I can
Good.
do this. Okay, so then tell me a little bit about this.
Okay, the tree. We just didn't want one big brown blob there, so we decided we'd get some stitch and seam.
Okay.
Did I say it right? Yep.
Stitch and
and
steam.
Steam.
Yeah.
That's the word. And so we drew out the shape of our tree, and we wanted a branch on it, and then we're going to show them how to do this.
Okay.
Because it's wrinkly. It looks like a tree trunk,
It
or
gives
tree
it
bark.
some texture, doesn't it? And I also noticed that you've got white thread on a brown tree.
Right. You want? It's okay.
You know what? It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I think it gives it a great look.
Yes,
I
gets
I
a
really
little
do.
bit more depth also.
Yeah, I agree. I
did
So-
that on purpose.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. So what we're going to do now, I know that we've talked a little bit about the stitch and steam before, but we're going to show you how we did it.
It's the coolest stuff ever.
I love it. I call it the first
Don't
time
say it, because then I won't be able to say it right.
The first time I used it was in a Kimberbell event here a couple of years back, and they used it for texturing of a basket. Okay, and at that time I was like, oh, that's similar to what we used to do when I was a kid. What's it called?
Shrinky dinks.
Shrinky dinks.
I love them. I love them.
Yep, I do too.
Now I'm
I
not going to
thought
be able to
so
say
too.
it right the rest of the
That's
show.
okay. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, so basically what you do with this, all it is just it almost feels like a satin.
It does. I would not, if it was just loose in my room, I wouldn't know what it
I
was
would never know what this is
until I went to iron it.
Yeah, yeah, and especially if you had steam in your iron.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all I've done here is I've just cut a small piece and a piece of fabric here.
That's all you're doing with it.
Yep, that's all I'm going to do.
Is there right side and wrong side to it?
No, there is not.
Okay.
There is not a wrong or right side to that. There is on the fabric, but not on
Right,
that stuff.
right.
Okay, so we are going to put a grid on it. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Would you embroider on your fabric and then try and do that? I think that'd be too much.
Probably not.
It probably wouldn't wrinkle right.
Yeah. Now, I will say that in the event that we did that, the grid that they sewed on here was, now I noticed yours is just straight lines,
Right.
one direction.
Yep.
Okay. What they did on this one is they did a box grid.
Oh,
Okay, and you can see, it's really hard for you guys to see that, but it's really small.
Right,
Okay.
it is.
But I think that's what gives it the different textures. And when you see my block,
so
I'll show you
we
that.
could sew it diagonally.
Oh, yes.
Serpentine, whatever?
You could do it however you want.
Experiment.
Yeah, exactly. You could do it up and down this way. You did straight lines. We can do them diagonal lines, or we can do them in a grid.
Okay.
Okay, so take this to the machine over there,
Okay.
girl.
All right.
And I just want you to just put some lines on it. I don't even care how you do
Okay.
it.
I gotta get the machine going.
Activate your machine here.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, we
Yep.
got, okay, straight stitch. We're
Straight
ready
stitch.
to fly.
It's just a regular stitch, regular thread. Everything's just whatever we do.
Yep.
Okay.
And so basically just kind of put a grid of any kind on it. You can use
Okay.
the width of your presser foot. You can use,
Do I have to have them all even?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
just
Well,
any
then-
kind of a grid. Now on the instructions for the stitch and steam, it gives you a chart that says, you know, if you want a finished size after it shrinks in inches, if you want it to be an inch, then you're going to cut it to 2 inches. So it looks like it about shrinks up half.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Good to
or-
know.
Yeah.
So
there's
you've gotta
a
make your
really
piece
great-
larger.
Yes, it's a really great grid chart on here on the back of the stitch and steam that shows you exactly what size you need to cut your fabric and your stitch and steam in order to get the size that you're looking for. Okay. So again, all I did was just kind of
I did cut my my tree out after I had stitched it down and shrunk it.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So you want to do some kind of a grid on it first, okay? And you can see what she's done here. And then you're going to shrink it down, and then you cut out whatever you're going to make.
Don't cut it
out
out
of
before.
No, no.
You'll end up with a little teeny tiny ball.
You're gonna, yeah, it's not going to work out right.
No.
Okay. So after I've done this, then what do I do with it?
Then I'm going to take it over and steam it.
Okay. And I'll let you
All right.
steam
Oh boy.
this one.
All right, I'll steam this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And this stuff is just so
Do
fun to
not
watch.
put it on it.
No.
We're
No,
just
you wanna
hovering.
hover over the top.
I don't know how to make the steam go.
Oh, I press the side button.
There it is. Woo!
Keep doing
you
it.
see
you
it?
just gotta keep going.
See that?
See
I'm
how-
magical.
Just keep it on
Whoa.
there. Look at that, Kyle.
I am
Look
magical.
what it's doing. I love this stuff. It's so fun to watch.
Look at that.
And I think
That's not even hot.
No, no.
I love that steam.
And look at that. Look at the difference. Look at what it did to it.
Wow, that's really tiny. That is cool.
Isn't that cool?
That could look like a basket. I like
Yeah,
it. I like
yeah.
it a lot.
Yeah. Well, I actually used it on this same thing on my block.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Do you want to
yeah,
see, you
I
want to see
do.
my block?
I want to see.
I'll explain my block. I'll show it to you, but I'll explain it to you here in
Look
just
at-
a minute. But see the difference?
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. This is my block. Now, as you can see, Kyle and I kind of use the same concept.
Yep.
With the tree, the grass, but mine's a little bit different.
Yep. What is yours representing?
Mine's, well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
okay.
We'll talk about this. We're just going to show the different medians that I used in my
Okay.
block. Okay, so let's talk about that. So again,
I'm very impressed.
I used the
Grass?
doodle for the grass here
Uh-huh.
on the bottom. I used the stitch and steam on my tree, very
Right.
similar to yours.
Right.
Okay, but I also did a little bit of clear blue tiles, and I did some background stitching,
Nice.
quilting on it.
I haven't quilted mine at all yet.
Well, maybe you're gonna quilt your quilt all together.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and maybe I'm gonna do mine in a block by block, and I'm gonna quilt
Oh, that's a
each
good idea.
block.
That's a good
Either
idea.
way.
So you put your batting in. I do not have my batting in.
Well, that's because I did background quilting.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I did background quilting on mine. I also did a little bit of machine embroidery here.
That's
on
really
my
cool.
bird.
That was smart.
Okay. And then I also used the Dresden ruler.
And you also did that inside.
And I did. I see. I used the shrinky dink or the stitch and steam
Shrinky dink.
on the inside of my inside of my. This is a nest. If you're wondering, this is a nest.
If you're wondering, I wonder.
Okay, this is a nest. But you see, I used the Dresden ruler on
That was
this
a good
also.
idea. And yours is dimensional too.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, we're like awesome.
So stop and think about all of the different medians that we used on this. So we have the Dresden ruler, and I know that we've got several videos out there on how to use this Dresden ruler. I know Cindy,
amazing.
Cindy did a great big one on the back of her coat.
Oh, yes.
But look at how mine's little.
How was that?
Oh, it was little.
It was fun. It was fun, they said.
It was little, yeah.
Cool.
And so, but it worked out great. But
Nice.
we were trying to figure out some way
What
to
does this represent?
Show a nest.
Okay.
Okay. This represents my freedom as an empty nester.
All right.
Okay. Now that sounds really crazy, doesn't it? But we'll explain that
No.
to you here in just a minute. So basically what we're showing here is the different medians that you can use. So again, don't get stuck
No.
in that rut of thinking that it has to be one thing.
Yeah, you and I started out thinking we were going to applique a bird on that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you came up
And
with that.
I'm
You're like a
going-
genius.
I'm not going to applique a bird. That's just not something that I'm going to do. So I went out there and I searched embroidery designs, and
Good job.
I found a little bird that
and
I
that
could
also
use.
represents you,
It
embroidery.
does. It does.
Nice.
Yeah. So you're exactly right. So there's a lot of things in this that can represent.
And even though
me.
you say your freedom as an empty nester, it doesn't mean that you wanted to kick them out of the nest.
No,
but enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And watching them.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So we'll go over that here in just a minute. But
'Kay.
don't get stuck, again, don't get stuck in that rut of thinking that it has to be one thing or another, because it can be a variety of all kinds of things. Again, this has machine embroidery on it, it has applique, it has a Dresden, which is you can use in quilting or whatever. So, and it represents me in a lot of different phases of my life.
Ooh,
too,
yeah, it does.
because I started out quilting. Actually, I started out making clothes, you know,
Oh, really?
doing more garment sewing than anything. Then I went into quilting, and then I got into machine embroidery. So different phases of our lives. So anyway.
Cool. I like it. Is your
let's-
block, are you going to cut that down?
Yeah,
Is that-
this is a bigger block.
Yeah,
but
because
I
you
will
did
cut-
background quilting, so you left it larger.
Right, I left it larger, and now I will cut it down to the 12 and a half
Mm-hmm.
by 12 and a half, and then when I put it in my quilt, it will be just like all the rest of them.
Magical.
So that's the way
Magical.
it goes. So let's take a look at this, and we will go back and talk a little bit about my block.
Okay.
How's that sound?
All right, sounds
Okay,
good.
see you in a minute.
All right.
Last week on Three Things Live, we launched Operation Organization.
We looked at your sewing rooms and, well, you need a little bit of help. No, trust me, we do too.
So we invited our good friend Corinne Wells from Riley Blake Designs to show us how to fold and store your quilts.
Suzanne shared a creative way to use up your scrap fabric. Vern helped us find ways to get a little more organized. Then we finished up by adding a little bling to our iron cases.
It was another week of Can't Miss TV on Three Things Live. Join us every Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Mountain and 3 p.m. Eastern. Can't join us live? Watch it on demand via Facebook or YouTube by clicking the links below.
Three Things Live is where we always have something to make you smile
Something to learn.
and something to discover.
Let's go!
Hey, how much is that? It's free in the club. Really? How much is that? It's free in the club. Even the embroidery? It's free in the club. Well, what about the online classes and tutorials? It's free in the club. Huh.
On Monday, February 10th, we'll be joined by designer Amy Smart from Riley Blake Designs on Three Things Live.
She's going to be showing us a new approach to jelly rolls and what's new in the sewing world.
So watch live at 1 p.m. Mountain and 3 p.m. Eastern.
Let's go!
Welcome back. I hope that you have enjoyed our freedom blocks that you guys shared.
It's kind of different.
Yeah, really fun. And if you're looking for the Stitch and Steam, it is found under new releases.
I love that
yes,
stuff.
I love this stuff too. Really, really fun medium to work with. Really fun to give it great
Yeah,
texture.
I can do so much with it.
Made it look a lot different than if we just put a piece of fabric.
Right, right. And also, the Dresden Rulers is also under our new releases. But I'm so excited to hear about your take on freedom, Sandra.
Okay, well, like I said, when they very first approached this and they said something about, we talked a little bit about different types of freedom, I thought, you know, I have 5 children, okay, and I spent a lot of my time doing things for my kids when they were younger, okay? I can remember a time when, this is kind of emotional for me, but I'll get it. My mom was first learning, she'd had a fabric store, okay? And she was teaching quilting classes, and I wanted to learn how to quilt. I'd done a lot of, like I said, I'd done a lot of garment sewing for my kids and everything, and I wanted to learn how to quilt. But it just didn't happen because I was spending all of my time doing things for my kids.
Right.
And my mom said one thing to me. She said, Sandra, there is a time and a season for all of this. And your time now is spent raising your children. And your season later might be that you can start quilting more. And I will never forget that because I'm doing the same thing now with my girls because they're going, Mom, I want to do this, and Mom, I want to do that. And I'd look at them and say, okay, when your girls or your kids are older, then that time will happen, that you can have that time to spend quilting or doing whatever you want to do. And I am now in that season of my life where it's just my husband and I at home. I have my grandkids quite often, I will say, which is awesome, and I really enjoy that. But it also is a time in my life where I have the freedom to do the things that I want to do.
Right.
Okay?
Nothing wrong with that.
Whether it be with my husband, whether it be with my grandkids, whether it be with my adult kids, whatever the case may be, I have the freedom to do those things that I enjoy. And I think that as, again, an empty nester, which there are hundreds of us out there that do this quilting hobby that are empty nesters, and it's only been the last 10, 15 years, thank you, that we've been able to do that. Of course, it has been 10 years. No, not quite 10 years that I've been an empty nester, but anyway, you just have a little bit more freedom to do the things that you enjoy. And it also, the bird on here can kind of represent a little bit about, I think I've raised my children enough to where they can fly on their own. Okay.
You've taught them.
Yeah, I've taught them hopefully well. I think so. They're all adults and they're all raising their own families and they're all doing amazingly well. But I think I've taught them enough to where they can be on their own and they can, do those things that they do with their families.
I think that's so beautiful.
Anyway, that's kind of the empty nester theme here that we had with this block. And so at first I was like, oh, I can't do this. But then after I really delved into it and remembered the things from my mom and different things that way, I thought, okay, I can do this. I can do this. So anyway.
Don't you love the freedom with these blocks to kind of reflect? Reflect on what matters in your life and reflect on the words and reflect on the things that are kind of shaping us. I don't think we take the time to do that, but I just know that as I'm putting my blocks together and that I'm remembering and I'm kind of digging in. And if you haven't jumped on the Stitch Your Story train, you know what? If there's a reason that you haven't, maybe you don't have the time, freedom, or that, great. Just follow
write your
along
story.
with us.
Just write your story.
Down, or
record it.
But if you do, it has really been a little bit therapeutic. And do you know what I love? I love that I feel like I know a little bit about you. Now I'm going to start crying, but I feel like I love a little bit. I know a little bit about each of you, and as we share these stories with each other, what a beautiful thing.
And as they share, as you guys share your stories with us, I totally agree. I've learned a little bit more about different people out there that I know, I've seen, and I've been able to communicate a little bit with. And so it's really awesome that I've been able to get to know them a little bit better. And that really brightens my heart.
Me too.
Yeah.
If you think about how much your grandmother's voice or her writing means to you, what is it going to mean to your grandkids?
Oh, yes.
And we're losing that. We are losing that a little bit with technology. And so I think it's really important.
Yeah,
well,
I agree.
I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I really have enjoyed the techniques you shared. I have enjoyed your blocks. I've enjoyed just being here with you guys. I've enjoyed all of you out there. Hey, what are you going to do for freedom this month? And share your stories throughout the month. Remember to hashtag MGQS, Stitch Your Story 2025 or Stitch Your Story 2025 so that we can learn and share and grow just a little bit about
and show their blocks.
And show your blocks. I mean, show your blocks.
Oh, yeah. I've totally enjoyed the different people and their aspects of it. I think I might even put a little bit more into mine. I'm going to put some flowers in it.
Oh,
I thought, you know what?
Flowers are important to you.
Yeah, I really enjoy planting flowers in the spring and watching them grow and the different ones. My dad was big. He loved peonies. Okay, and so I'm trying to find an embroidery design of a peony, and I'm going to put it in my block.
I love it. So, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And be sure to tune in tomorrow. We have Cindy and Sherry, and they're going to share their takes on freedom, but especially join in on Wednesday when we welcome Susan Goldman Rubin, who wrote the book quilts of Giesbend or Giesbend. I'm not sure. We're going to
Yeah.
ask her how to say that. But talk about a legacy and talk about freedom and talk about, it's just
got
absolutely
some
fantastic.
amazing.
It is an amazing story. And I cannot wait to talk about her. And that's coming up on Wednesday. And you know what? Just do all the things you love and let's all enjoy our freedoms that we have.
Yeah.
However you interpret that word.
Exactly. It's not just freedom from being under somebody, it's freedom to let yourself be.
Yes.
Yes, I
All
totally
right.
agree.
And with that, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.